When it comes to your future and the effect you'll have on the world, you won't just choose a college. You'll choose a path. The path to your future. What college experience do you want? Something small with a focus on teaching and the opportunity to serve your community? Something big with hundreds of programs, cutting-edge research, and all the clubs, sports, and arts you want. Something flexible where you can create an experience that is tailored to your goals and the good you want to do in the world. What if you don't have to choose? What if you can have it all? And more importantly, what if your college experience isn't about the college? What if it is about you? Taking the talent you already have and sculpting it, honing it, and broadening its reach so you can actually do something about the problems others only talk about.
I chose an education that would help me put my community first by addressing issues that are generations old.
I chose an opportunity that gave me the ability to engineer new ideas that serve people, heal the planet, and revolutionize markets and their industries.
I didn't know it then, but the world was waiting for me and my unique problem-solving skills.
The world is waiting for us.
Choosing a college is a big decision. I chose a community that accepted me as an individual and a contributor to a greater cause.
I chose a path that gave me creative and intellectual freedom, a supportive community, and powerful skills and resources to become a lifelong learner.
I chose to be a Laker at Grand Valley State University.
I am living a future I thought was only a dream. And my Laker effect is the reason why. What will your Laker effect be?
Hello, and welcome to Grand Valley State University's Laker Experience Day. My name is Megan Frierson, and I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions here at GVSU. Tonight, you will hear from our Office of Financial Aid, our Housing and Residence Life Office, our Office of Student Life, our Padnos International Center, our Athletics Office, and from the Admissions Office. We thank you for joining us tonight to learn more about Grand Valley and exactly what the Laker Effect is. The Laker Effect is how we identify our students' passion for learning. It's what sets our students apart out in the community as ambassadors, mentors, and leaders. It's while our students are studying abroad in Tanzania, even life professionally after graduation. That is what the Laker Effect is. Our mission is to shape our students' lives, their professions, and their societies to provide a well-rounded education. That is the value of a liberal education. Within our liberal education, our students will get the opportunity to explore many different disciplines and learn a variety of different skills. Skills like cultural understanding, creative thinking, even problem-solving skills. Just think, a student that is majoring in social work might solve a problem a little bit different than a student that is majoring in engineering. Within our general education, it supports whatever major you should select and whatever profession you decide to go into. With 300 areas of study, we got you covered. Here at Grand Valley, we have many different undergraduate level programs and graduate level programs that can support you on your journey. With 94 undergraduate programs and 44 graduate level programs. And if you are undecided, no worries. We have support and guidance to help you from the beginning all the way until you walk across that stage. Every major is housed within the college. So if you are undecided, we call it exploratory studies here, and you would work with our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. If you're a student that is interested in nursing, you would work with our Kirkhoff College of Nursing. The bulk of our programs are right here on the Allendale campus. This is the heartbeat of Grand Valley. Freshman housing is located here. Many of the resources, new amenities like our library that you see in the background, support services like tutoring and our writing center and speech lab, they're all housed right here. Hey, even if you want to dance with Louis the Laker at a football game, you can have that fun on the Allendale campus. However, in addition to our Allendale campus, we have 2 campuses in the city of Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is the second largest city in the state of Michigan. It opens the door for experiential learning opportunities for our students. Within the city of Grand Rapids, we have our Pew campus as well as our health campus that is located down there. And it really is only about a 20 to 25-minute drive from our Allendale campus. If you are a student that is interested in programs like education, engineering, social work, business, public nonprofit administration, you will be housed right on our Pew campus. And on our Pew campus, you have other resources located there as well. You have our bookstore, you have our library, computer labs, all those additional resources that you would get right from our Allendale campus. For most incoming freshmen, you're not going to have classes your freshman year down there. However, depending on your program, you could have some classes down there later, usually during the end of your sophomore year, early junior year. The only exception is if you are an engineering student, you could have a class or 2 down in the city of Grand Rapids. And then around the block, not too far away, located on our fabulous medical mile, you will find our health campus. So if you're a student that is interested in nursing, if you're interested in diagnostic medical sonography, radiation therapy, even some of our graduate level programs like occupational therapy and physical therapy, they are housed on our health campus. We have 2 buildings to support our students with that academic space, as well as simulation labs where you are working with state-of-the-art equipment. Down on the medical mile, you can find hospitals like the DeVos Children's Hospital, you can find Spectrum Health Hospital, as well as Mercy Health and many other clinics and hospitals within the city of Grand Rapids right at our students' fingertips. Now, when you're looking at many of these different programs and you're looking at your experiences at Grand Valley, our goal is to get you connected and get you the support that you need. And I can tell you, we have some very dedicated faculty. Here at Grand Valley, with a student population over 23,000 students, our average class size is 26. So guess what? Our faculty get to know you by name. You're not just a number within the classroom. Our faculty go beyond the classroom. They engage in research with our students through the undergraduate research and scholarship office, as well as our faculty, our mentors to our freshman students. I'm so excited to tell you about our Student Success Network. This is a program that 85 of our faculty last year volunteered to be faculty mentors to our incoming freshman students. So remember I talked about that support? That is what you get before you even step foot in the classroom. That faculty reaches out to you, connects with you, and helps you on your journey and your transition to Grand Valley State University. So next, I would like to turn it over to Ben Rhodes. He is the Assistant Director of Financial Aid.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I know financial aid can be kind of a, difficult topic, and there can be a lot of information that people will need at some point. And so I guess the first and foremost, since we only have a few minutes, is I want to say that our office is always available, whether you've applied and been admitted, you have questions about merit scholarships or FAFSA, you need help filling out the FAFSA or anything else like that. We would love to help you through that, whether it's an email, a phone call, a Zoom appointment. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And so that's mainly what I want to get across. today. However, it's important to know some of the basics with financial aid. And so first off, you see in the slide that there are really 4 different types of financial aid available for students. You have scholarships and grants, which are both free money. It's free money that you don't have to pay back. It's just basically free money that will be deducted from your balance, right, when you get your bill. The difference would be scholarships you receive when you do something in terms of winning something. Maybe it's an essay, maybe it's your merit-based awards through, because your high school GPA, maybe it's a athletic competition, a dance competition. So you typically win scholarships, where grants are given to you based on the FAFSA. The FAFSA really being that government form that is about 99 questions that goes over your parent and household information. Now, through that, you'll also receive some loans through the government. And then the possibility of employment is also considered financial aid, mainly in the areas that the work study will be. We have a lot of jobs on campus that can help subsidize those types of things. So now on the next side, again, FAFSA is a very, very important aspect of financial aid. And really that's your start into the financial aid process. So on that next slide that we have, you'll see that the FAFSA, you can do it online. You are required sometime to do it between October 1st is when it will open, and then March 1st. Let me check real quick. So on that next slide, October 1st till March 1st, okay? March 1st is really the early deadline for the FAFSA. You can submit it, after that, but we suggest not, because you could lose out on some additional of that grant money that you have. So next year, that'll be kind of your primary focus to start financial aid. Of course, scholarships you'll continue applying throughout the fall and the winter as well. You will, in order to need to fill out the FAFSA, you will need your tax information as well. So that's an important piece of it. Now, one aspect of financial aid is also the bill itself. It's important to understand the tuition here at Grand Valley. So on the next slide, you'll see a little bit more about the tuition. We're a state university, and so we have in-state and out-of-state rates. And then in terms of tuition, really it's broken up. You pay each semester. But a lot of times when we explain the cost of the university, we talk about it in terms of a year. Now, how much will you need in terms of each year? And so you can see for in-state, the yearly cost for tuition is going to be a little over $13,000, whereas for out-of-state, it's going to be somewhere just shy of $19,000. So there is a little bit of difference between that in-state, out-of-state. Now, we're on a block schedule, and so 12 to 15 credits is actually the same cost. 12 will make you a full-time student, and in fact taking that 13th, 14th, or 15th credit is essentially free for you. And so we encourage students, you need 120 credits in 4 years, that'd be 30 a year or 15 a semester. And so we encourage students to really hit that full-time or more in terms of credits, and that's how we do it in a special tuition rate, so that block rate. The next slide, we do want to talk a little bit about scholarships. Obviously, you have so many different types of scholarships that you can qualify for, including application-based scholarships, outside scholarships, scholarships through maybe your high school or local organizations that you belong to. There's really a plethora out there. I think sometimes the difficulty is trying to narrow down some of those things. And so our office will be available next fall and winter as you go throughout that season of applying to scholarships. One thing I would recommend is this summer starting to consider those things, starting to maybe even save money towards your towards like tuition, and maybe even starting to write essays and so forth like that too. So yeah, that's a little bit about the financial aid. Like I said, our office is always open to questions. You'll probably need to call us at some point, whether it's filling out the FAFSA or it's questions about scholarship, and we would love to talk to you, me and my staff. So I believe next I'm gonna send it over to the housing office, perhaps, and Susie is going to talk a little bit more about the on-campus housing.
Great, thanks, Ben. Yeah, my name is Susie Herman, and I am a Residence Life Coordinator in Housing and Residence Life. I am so excited that you are joining us this evening to learn a little bit more about GVSU. Like my colleagues, we have a lot of information that we're going to try to get you pretty quickly. So I wanted to start with our contact information. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns after this evening, and you're also welcome to use our question and answer chat in this presentation. So Housing and Residence Life is home to up to 6,000 first year and upper class students between our Allendale and Grand Rapids campuses. We offer a variety of options between rooms, apartment styles, that's all going to best fit your needs as a student. We also offer a rich on-campus experience. We know that living on campus is more than just beds and keys. It's a really important part of your college experience. From our survey data, we know that students who live on campus have better GPAs and graduate faster than their off-campus counterparts due to a variety of resources and supports that we offer. Because we know how important your on-campus experience is, all freshmen are required to live on campus due to our first-year residency requirement. But you can only apply for housing once you've already applied and been admitted to the university. So know that that's kind of a step 2 in your GVSU checklist once you've already completed the important part of getting into Grand Valley. As far as our styles here, we have a bunch of different styles to offer for our first-year students. Most of our first-year students live on North Campus, where these ones on the screen are located, although we also have freshmen living on South Campus and downtown with our other upperclassmen. I also want to highlight our living learning communities. We have several living learning communities, which really combine that in-classroom and out-of-classroom experiences. Some of those include our Honors College, the Gender Justice House, International House, and more. We actually have 4 new living learning communities opening this fall. So if you want more information about that, be sure to check out our website. Now let's go into a little bit more detail about some of these styles. So first up, we have traditional style, and that's really what you think of when you think of a on-college experience in a residence hall. There are 1 to 2 people per room. There's a community bathroom down the hall. These buildings tend to be very lively. Lots of students live there. They make a lot of connections and really kind of gives you that traditional feel, as the name suggests. We also have our traditional cluster style. It's very similar, except here we have 2 to 3 students per room, and that student to bathroom ratio is a little bit smaller. It's also the only style on North Campus that has air conditioning, so it makes it very popular and fills up pretty quickly. If that is a style that you're interested in, make sure you get your application in quick so we can get you assigned there. Now let's check out some of our apartment style options. So here are the layouts for both of our styles of apartments that we have on North Campus. You can see that both of these styles of units have 2 students sharing a private bathroom as well as a small kitchenette. The 1-bedroom apartment style feels kind of like a studio apartment. There's 1 large bedroom and living space, while the 2-bedroom apartment style, as the name suggests, has 2 separate private bedrooms for each student. Our students who live in these styles really like the extra privacy and the extra amenities they provide. It makes it a little bit easier maybe to make that transition to on campus since you have that privacy of a bathroom and extra kitchenette. They're also pretty popular options, especially that 2-bedroom apartment style. So another one that I would encourage you to get your application in quickly once you apply to Grand Valley, if that's a style that is interest of you. Lastly, here we have our suite and on-campus apartments that I wanted to show you a little bit about. So the first up at the top is our suite style apartments. These are our 2 students per room and 4 students per shared suite that shares a bathroom. It's really kind of a middle of the road between that traditional and that apartment style. Students really like these styles because they're very plentiful on North Campus. We have plenty of these options, and it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you a little bit more privacy with that shared bathroom, but still has a pretty lively community feel. The last floor plan here is an example of our on-campus apartments. We have a variety of 1, 2, and 4-bedroom apartments on South Campus. This is an example of a 4-bedroom one here. They can include private bathrooms, bedrooms, large living spaces, full kitchens, and they really feel just like any other apartment you might be familiar with. A lot of our students who live in these styles tend to be upperclassmen, but because of those living learning communities and because of different years, we also have freshmen living in on-campus apartments as well. And like I said, a lot of our students really like that kind of independent feel and feeling a little bit more like you're living on your own. Now that we've kind of checked out these styles, I just want to share a little bit of information about campus dining. They aren't represented here tonight officially, but to let you know that all of our first-year students living on North Campus do receive a 14+ meal plan included in their price of housing. So when you're looking at those prices and those costs for North Campus, know that that includes a meal plan. There are plenty of meal plan options to kind of give you the flexibility of what works best for you, and you're able to change your meal plan online if you need to do so. There are 24 restaurants across campus, including some national chains like Qdoba, Panda Express, Which Wich, and Starbucks, which is very popular among our students and staff. We have coffee shops, there's convenience stores, and athletics concessions are all considered part of your meal plan. So if you have more questions about campus dining, feel free to check out their website and learn a little bit more. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really enjoyed talking with you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Paola Leon, Associate Professor and Graduate Director for the School of Social Work.
Sorry about that, I was muted, but thank you. And hello, everyone. It is really great to be here tonight with you. I'm excited to talk to you about what kind of experience you can expect from a GVSU education. As you heard in my introduction, I teach at the School of Social Work. And one of the things that impressed me the most upon starting my time here at GVSU was the open door policy that we have. That means that professors have their doors open when they're in their office and are welcoming the students who stop by. And this is an amazing opportunity that is not available everywhere. It certainly was not my experience as an undergraduate student. As a first generation college student, I would have appreciated knowing that I could speak to my professors outside of the classroom. And I think sometimes we don't know that or feel comfortable doing that, but that is something that you can do and are encouraged to do here at GVSU. You do not have to have a problem to approach your professors. You can stop by to say hello, to get to know them better, for them to get to know you. The more your professor knows you and about your interests, the more they'll be able to connect you to projects and opportunities. This list here that you see is just some opportunities that you'll have access to. I'll show you some pictures and tell you about some of this in just a minute. Another thing to know about your future professors is that we are very involved with our communities and make efforts to stay engaged with the problems that our communities face. This means that you will learn in the classroom about what you're studying, but you'll also learn from your professors' real life examples about the work they're doing in the communities. And sometimes they'll take you along to do that work with them. In the next slide, we talked about small classes, and small classes are great. My undergraduate class size has ranged anywhere from 25 to 35 students, depending on what I'm teaching. This is a small group that allows for a lot of interaction and small group learning. So I can engage students in hands-on experiences in class, like for example, we might practice a case study scenario and role play different interventions. I've also done gallery walks where students may present the activity they've worked on to a small group of students and then rotate through different stations. And because I also rotate through those stations, I can provide more targeted feedback to each individual or group. And that enhances your learning. For those of you that may be a little bit more shy or more introverted, the small group work gives you opportunity to build the trust and comfort to then participate in the larger group discussions. As I mentioned before, your professors are very available to you. They care about your success, and they will connect you to the amazing number of resources we have on campus when you need it. I have seen students take advantage of our writing center and library, and we have dedicated librarians for all of our disciplines that are available to help you with your research papers and all that homework that you need to do. And so our writing center is also a great resource, and they help you review and edit your work before you have to submit it. And these are just two examples of all the resources that are available to us. In the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the programs and experiences that I engage my students in. These pictures here are from a study abroad trip to El Salvador and Guatemala that I co-lead. Study abroad is such an amazing opportunity and is well worth looking into before deciding that it is not something for you or that you cannot afford to do. When I was in undergrad, I was under the impression that I needed a lot of money to do a study abroad program, and so I never really considered it. It was much later that I learned that it could have been an option for me. Going to a different country and taking yourself out of your comfort zone is a kind of learning that you don't get to do in the classroom. So this is one of my favorite experiences to share with my students. We get to know each other well, and I have had the privilege of guiding and facilitating this journey for many students who are out of their communities and country for the first time. The next slide shows some of the pictures of projects that I do with my students. outside of the classroom. The Social Justice Begins With Me, for example, is a project in partnership with the Grand Rapids Public Library. It's a reading project for children ages 4 to 11. And this project allows opportunity for my students to participate in organizing the program, and they participate through an assignment that they complete in one of their courses. And through this assignment, they work with the Grand Rapids Public Library, with other graduate students and myself in a much smaller environment. We meet, we read children's literature, we learn and use theoretical frameworks to examine the books, and we produce a curriculum that is then incorporated into the program. Students also have the opportunity to participate as facilitators for the program. So there's really real hands-on experience there. We work very closely with our students so that they feel ready and equipped to do this kind of work. Because we have smaller classes, we're also able to mentor our students more closely. The picture up top is a group of students in one of my classes presenting their final project. We worked all semester in small groups to learn about the research process and applied that knowledge to investigating a social issue of their choice. So instead of presenting in our classroom, they brought their work to a common area in the School of Social Work and presented to their classmates, as well as faculty and other students who stopped by. The bottom picture shows another one of my undergrad students who turned her final research paper into a presentation for our GVSU Teach-In. So as you can see, there are amazing opportunities awaiting you. In my experience, faculty here really encourage you to stay curious. Regardless of what path of study you choose, if you stay curious and with an open mind, you will discover your passions and you'll be surrounded by people who will support you and guide you. So thank you for having me today. I will leave you now with Leanne, is the Associate Director of Student Life.
Thank you, Dr. Leon. This really ties in nicely what we're going to talk about next. So first of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm excited to share with you all the many ways for our students to get involved on campus. Student Life is here to enhance the college experience with activities outside of the classroom experience. So as Dr. Leon said, there are lots of ways to get involved inside the classroom, but we know that 30% of your time will be spent in that classroom, but the remaining 70% is outside of the class. What are you going to do with your discretionary time? How will you use your experience at Grand Valley to maximize your 4 years here? We encourage students to find 3 organizations that may interest them. The 3 organizations we try to encourage are an academic group, where you would meet with others who are studying in the same field as yourself. You'll have the opportunity to network, to develop relationships, to begin your career. So that's the first kind of group, is our academic, and you'll see we have over 100 of those type of organizations. The second group we encourage people to get involved is our academic group, your service and advocacy groups. Those groups are where you can give back to the community. Many of you are probably involved in that in your high school experience now, where you're giving back to the community and you feel like you're making a difference. Those same kind of groups are available here. And you can see on the slide, we have 63 currently of those kinds of organizations. The third kind of organization I encourage you to look for is one that you would join just for fun. It could be one of our many cultural groups. It could be a fraternity or a sorority, or one of our special interest groups. We're going to watch now a short video featuring 3 students who pursued their interests and made the most of their college experience.
At Grand Valley, there are many ways for students to get involved outside of the classroom, and this involvement will look different for each student. Getting involved is an important part of the college experience, which means trying new things and meeting new people. We offer hundreds of student organizations to choose from. Students might volunteer and get civically engaged through the Community Service Learning Center, or attend any of our campus-wide traditional events. Getting involved helps students make friends, build their resumes, explore passions, develop new skills, and have fun. Meet Rachel, a student whose organizational involvement led to lasting memories and career opportunities. This is part of her story.
My name is Rachel Serba. I am the station manager of WCKS The Whale.
WCKS The Whale, reaching all corners of Laker Nation.
I came in with no friends coming with me from high school. Joining a club definitely gives you that motivation. Like when you're having bad days, like I was leaving my apartment at least to do this, and that was a huge motivator. I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do, and now it's like, I want to do radio for the rest of my life.
Rachel's involvement with Whale Radio helped her land a radio-related job post-college. But not all involvement opportunities have to relate to your major or desired career. Meet Trey, a student who has benefited from joining a student organization in an area he's passionate about. It helped to push him out of his comfort zone.
When I first came to Grand Valley, I didn't really know what I wanted to get involved in, but I really wanted to take more of a competitive approach to music. And a cappella was like this branch of music I had never dived into. It's your voice is the instrument. Coming into Euphoria really opened my eyes to how many different students are just here on this campus. We're all different, and we were all accepting to our differences. I'll definitely say that by me getting involved, I've not only seen an increase in my GPA and seen an increase in my overall mental health and physical health, and bringing in something that's not academic and bringing something that doesn't have anything to do with my major has allowed me to become more of a holistic individual.
GVSU also has many major-specific organizations for students who are interested in devoting extra time to their academics and networking within their future career fields. Meet Kevin, a student who chose to spend his free time strengthening his skills and preparing for life post-college.
Going to Campus Life Night pretty much opened my eyes to the number of student organizations that are actually on campus. There's over 400 organizations. If there's over 400 organizations, then there's a really good chance that there's going to be at least one that I would enjoy being in. I've been in several organizations, and I've learned lessons from each individual one. The organization that really challenged me to grow the most was Student Senate, because it taught me public speaking skills. What most people think of when they hear student organizations is they think of special interest organizations like Kung Fu Club or Jiu-Jitsu Club. But there's also academic organizations too, where they actually give you information about your career. So I've been involved with a couple pre-professional organizations in the past, such as Pre-Med Club. Something like these organizations are really important, especially in educating people on how they can get to where they want to be.
No matter what your interests, goals, or aspirations are, Grand Valley has an involvement opportunity for you. And if you can't find one that you feel is the right fit, all you need is 3 friends and an advisor to start your own.
Interested in finding out more about student organizations? Visit LakerLink, our online student organization hub. There you can browse all our different organizations.
For even more information about the many involvement opportunities at Grand Valley, head to gvsu.edu/studentlife.
It's not too early to start looking at some of the things that we're doing, so please start following Student Life now. That way, when you come to visit us next year, you'll know all of the great organizations you want to get involved in and on all the things that you can do. At this time, I'd like to turn over to Alyssa Lane from the Padnos International Center.
As a student who now is studying abroad, when I write on my medical school application, I've studied abroad in Spain, I've learned another language, that will set me apart.
Interacting with other cultures, it challenges what you believe, but it also challenges you to think differently.
I've never even left the country, and I've learned so much about the culture and the people. I would not be able to learn this from reading in a textbook.
There's always opportunities to get funding. You can use your financial aid to study abroad. You can get so many scholarships. You can do it. Just go for it.
This has been an incredible experience. Just like life lessons that you learn here. It's a mental shift when you study abroad.
I feel developed. I don't know if this is how every student should feel when they're leaving college. I definitely feel prepared to tackle the world.
All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Alyssa, and I'm here representing the GVSU Padnos International Center. My office is in charge of study abroad programs at GVSU, and study abroad is basically the opportunity for Grand Valley students to take credits towards their degree in another country. Grand Valley is proud to be currently ranked number 6 in the nation for study abroad participation amongst master's level institutions. We send between 700 and 800 students abroad every year. I personally studied abroad to China, the United Kingdom, the Czech Republic, and I still look back on my study abroad programs as being some of the most impactful experiences of my life. And I love talking to students about how they can have their own experience abroad. At Grand Valley, we have study abroad programs that range from 2 weeks to a full year abroad. On some programs, you're traveling with a faculty member and a group of students, and on others, you have the chance to do a summer or semester abroad at one of our partner universities. There are programs for every academic track in every region of the world. So no matter what you're thinking about majoring in, there are study abroad program options for you. You might be going into education and your program is teaching in a classroom in Spain or Tanzania. Maybe you're going into nursing and your program is working in a hospital in Ghana. You could be going into business and decide to do an internship in Australia or Japan. No matter where you decide to go, study abroad gives you the opportunity to build a global perspective and make connections with people from all around the world. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about funding. So at Grand Valley, one of our passions is making sure that these amazing opportunities are not only available, but accessible. And part of how we do that is creating affordable study abroad program options and offering study abroad scholarships. One opportunity that I'm really excited to share with you today is the Lakers Go Abroad Scholarship. Incoming freshmen can apply for a $2,000 study abroad scholarship to be used on the program of their choice anytime during their 4 years at Grand Valley. We award over 100 scholarships per year. The application deadline is January 15th, and you apply by visiting gvsu.edu/myscholarships. You'll apply for this scholarship after you apply to GVSU and are admitted in the fall. All you have to do is write a one-page essay about where you would want to study abroad and why. In addition to the Lakers Go Abroad Scholarship, the Padnos International Center awards nearly $250,000 in other scholarships every year. And we're very fortunate at Grand Valley to have opportunities like this to support students to be able to see the world. So on the next slide, we'll talk about what to do next. So if study abroad is something that you think you might be interested in during your time at GVSU, I highly encourage you to reach out to the Padnos International Center. We have a whole team of advisors whose job it is to help you plan an experience abroad during your time at Grand Valley. You can visit our website, which is gvsu.edu/study abroad, to search for programs by country or major. And now I'd like to introduce Carrie Becker, the Director of Athletics.
Thanks, Alyssa. Hi, welcome, future Lakers. Ms. Tibby talked about spending about 70% of your time outside of the classroom. You'll find that Grand Valley is a highly active campus, whether you're just dropping into the rec center for some pickup basketball, volleyball, to work out, use the track, take a spin class, or just getting some friends together and getting an intramural team together. Need a little bit more competition? Grand Valley hosts a large number of club sports teams who are highly competitive against the other universities. Still think you have what it takes? You can even have the opportunity to try out for one of our NCAA varsity programs. Grand Valley boasts the best Division II athletic program in the country. What does this mean? We have come in either first or second over the last 18 years, bringing home 13 all sports trophies, what we call the NACDA Learfield Directors Cup. We're the only institution who has won more Directors Cup is our Division I colleague, Stanford University. This means we have success not just in one or two sports, but across all 20 sports. We have more teams that make and progress the NCAA postseason than any other Division II program in the country. And this is what results in the coveted Learfield Directors Cup, all sports trophy. This success has led to about 24 national championships, with our women's track and field team bringing home number 24 just a month ago. Our student athletes sit right next to you in the classroom. They work with you in the community as they collect over about 6,000 hours of community service every year. And they engage in some of those other organizations beyond their fields of play that Ms. Tibby talked about on their way to a degree as well. They're part of the fabric of the campus. But most importantly, you're a critical part of that athletic success because it's you, the student, who brings Laker Nation to life. While the teams are exciting to watch, there's nothing like Lover Stadium on a football Saturday night. Love the game or not, it's part of that 70% of the time outside of the classroom where you can be a part of that Grand Valley spirit. Everyone can leave the stress of life behind. Put the oars in the water and root for this place you will call your GV home. What's even better, students get in free to every single regular season home event. So come be a part of this amazing experience. Until that day you can walk on campus, follow us on the social media outlets. Anchor up. Now I'm turning it back to Jody and admissions.
Thank you, Carrie. So at this time, I'd like to switch gears a bit and talk about the application process and some of the specific information that will be helpful to you as you navigate the college search process over the next few months. The first step, of course, once you decide that Grand Valley is one of your choices, is to apply for admissions. And the easiest way to do that is to just go online and complete the application for admissions. When you do that, you'll submit that to us directly online, and then you will have your high school send us your high school transcript. We do need a transcript that goes through your junior year. And so you wouldn't want to apply for admissions right now. You'll want to wait until you complete your junior year, and then you may go ahead and apply for admissions. Now, we review applications on a rolling basis. So what that means is that from the time that your application is complete in our office, we start to review those, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, we will get a decision in the mail to you. You'll notice on the screen this evening that we have indicated that admissions test scores, standardized test scores such as the ACT or SAT, are optional for students enrolling for the class of fall of 22. So some of you may have taken the test, in fact, today or this week, the SAT as an example. We certainly encourage you to take a standardized test. However, it will be your choice on whether or not you want us to use that in the application process. So there'll be a question on the application that you'll answer, letting us know what your intention is. If you'd like us to use your standardized test score, then of course you will have that sent to us. We do accept standardized test scores on a high school transcript. So if you didn't have your score released to us when you actually sat for that exam, you can just have the high school forward it to us on your transcript or with your transcript, and we will accept that as official. We use the test scores for admissions purposes, but we also use those test scores for course placement. So another reason why we strongly encourage you to take a standardized test and perhaps repeat that standardized test. So if there's one thing we've learned this last year is that we have to be flexible. And as a result of the situation that the pandemic brought upon us, there were limitations with the ability to sit for an ACT or an SAT. And since we don't know what the future will hold this next year, that's why we have decided to continue with the same practice. And what we've learned this past year is that we're able to make strong admissions decisions using your high school transcripts, using the information that you provide on the application. And so we have enough information to make really strong admissions decisions. Now, another reason that you may want to sit for a standardized test score is that we may have scholarships that will require a specific test score for consideration. Now, the most important piece of information related to merit scholarships that I want to leave you with today is that you must be admitted to Grand Valley by December 31 of your senior year for merit scholarship consideration. So this is different than filling out the FAFSA form that Ben talked to you about earlier. So what we've decided to do is, again, I mentioned that we had to make some changes this past year and adapt to what was happening with the pandemic. And so as a result, we made changes to our merit scholarship program, and we'd like to take some time over this next month or so to review those changes that we made and how those changes impacted our students who are going to be freshmen this fall. Once we do that this next month, then we will put forward our merit scholarship program for you. So we didn't want to do that without some thought behind it. And so for now, what you want to make sure that you do is finish your junior year strong. It's important. Grade point average certainly are an important part of this consideration. Sit for an ACT or an SAT if you're able to safely. And then just watch for updates from us regarding what our Merit Scholarship Program will look like. Ben also mentioned the My Scholarship portal. So in addition to Merit Scholarships, we have endowed scholarships. We also have scholarships that are specific to programs or opportunities. So Alyssa mentioned the Lakers Go Abroad. That scholarship is housed in the My Scholarship portal. So once you're admitted to Grand Valley, we give you the credentials to log into the My Scholarship portal. So you can't do this until you're admitted. It opens on October 1. When you complete the profile, it will then share with you some scholarships that you may want to apply for. And every application can be slightly different in terms of what they're asking you to complete as part of the application process. Please be aware that some of the scholarships, not all, but there are scholarships in this portal that do require that you complete a FAFSA form. So if you go in and you create your profile in My Scholarships, but you haven't submitted the FAFSA yet, make a note to go back into the portal once your FAFSA, your free application for federal student aid, has been submitted to Grand Valley, because it may open the door to additional scholarship options for you. So rest assured, when you get to this point in the process, we will share information with you at Grand Valley each step of the way. But I wanted to at least give you an overview of what we're expecting your senior year. So we shared with you several deadlines already this evening. And so this is a comprehensive list now of some of the deadlines that we talked about. So again, applying for admission by December 31, being admitted, so that you are considered for any possible merit scholarship opportunity. We talked a little bit about the FAFSA. Ben shared with you that that will open up October 1. And you know what, during your senior year, once that opens in October, although it's available or open until March, the sooner you complete it, the better. It's just one more step that you have completed, and you're so busy your senior year. So just go ahead, probably need family support to fill out that FAFSA form, but just get it done, and then list any colleges that you would like that FAFSA information supplied to. We mentioned the My Scholarship portal. You heard a little bit about housing. We do expect our first year students to live in on-campus housing. So once you're admitted to Grand Valley, we do allow you to apply for housing, and applying for housing allows you to choose the style that you prefer. And so doing that sooner rather than later is also to your benefit. And then finally, by May 1 of your senior year, you will make a final decision on where you'd like to enroll in the fall. And of course, we hope that's at Grand Valley. And so the way you communicate to us that you are taking a place in our freshman class is you submit an advising and registration fee and reservation, and then we work with you to enroll in your classes. I skipped the very first item on this list because I want to talk more specifically about visiting campus. It really is the best way to decide if college or university is a good fit for you. And so right now we are currently hosting in-person visits, but as you can imagine, we've had to reduce density quite a bit. And so right now we've really reserve the campus visit for high school seniors. As you can imagine, they've had a challenging year. I know you have too, but they've been limited in what they've been able to do. And so we've reserved our visits for seniors, but we will soon be changing that and opening our visits for you as juniors. So the way we're handling it is we're opening visits a month at a time. So if you go to our visit site, what you're going to find is that our visits for April are full. So our seniors have reserved all of those spots for April. But in the next week or two, we will be opening spots for May visits. And then when we get through the next couple weeks, June and so on. So I strongly encourage you to take some time this summer. Summer is an absolutely gorgeous time to walk on our campus. Grand Valley continually sets new standards for excellence in how facilities are used to promote academic achievement. And so we'd love for you to see that for yourself. After our time together today, if you're so excited that you can't wait for a visit to open up in the next month, you know what? You can come on campus on your own right now. The campus is open. We have developed what we're calling a virtual tour guide. So all you need to do when you get to campus is go to this website that I have on the screen, and we have posters up on campus and you'll find it on our website. But essentially you use your mobile device. So your phone, for example, becomes your virtual tour guide. It uses Google Maps to walk you around campus and gives you audio and visual cues to explain or to share information with you about specific buildings on campus. So if you'd like to use that right now, you're welcome to do so. We ask that you wear a mask while you're on campus, but certainly we encourage you to take the time to visit until we can host you officially. You learned this evening that GVSU is focused on undergraduate education. Megan talked about that at the start of our presentation today, that faculty, not graduate assistants, teach our classes, and that with an average class size of 26 students, you have the opportunity to get to know faculty like Dr. Leon personally. Working closely with a professor can be one of the most meaningful parts of your undergraduate experience, and Grand Valley does that better than most institutions. You also heard from Megan that the foundation to everything that we do at Grand Valley is rooted in providing you with a liberal education, an education that's well-rounded and prepares you for a world that's changing very, very quickly. We're not interested in preparing you for your first job when you graduate from college, but we want to make sure that you have the skills and the ability and the knowledge for your career 5, 10, 15 years after you graduate. And the Liberal Education Foundation really does set you up for that well. Our campus is beautiful and our community is supportive and committed to helping you grow and develop for whatever comes next. So thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. On behalf of all of my colleagues that have joined in this session, we hope to get to know you better over the next several months. So this is really not the end, but hopefully the beginning of a relationship that we'll be able to build with you. So at any time you have questions, reach out to us in the admissions office so that we can make sure you're getting the information that you need to make a college decision, the best college decision for you. We will stay online and answer questions that you have. Just go ahead and put them in the Q&A portion on the bottom of your screen, and the staff will continue to answer those. But this actually ends our formal presentation this evening. And once again, thank you for joining us and have a great night.